Post-Dispatch editorial page welcomes St. Louis Zoo President Jeffrey Bonner to the platform.
When we talk about a 25-year plan, what we really talk about is vision. But the vision was really looking at what's the role of institutions like zoos 25 years from now. What we would say is that animals may be safe in zoos, but they're not saved in zoos. They're saved if they can continue to live their lives relatively unmolested in the wild. So we really see zoos and aquariums 25 years from now as primarily field conservation organizations. Obviously, the zoo that you see will never go away, nor could it. For many species, there is no wild. And so increasingly, that zoos become very, very important conduits or connection points for people and living things. And I'd say the same thing about gardens, too. You can get much the same kind of experience at the Missouri Botanical Garden. So, and I think those places are going to be, places like ours, are going to be far more important 25 years from now in that context than they are today. Exhibits like penguins and puffins, where you're not supposed to stick your hand in the water, but it's wet, it smells. It smells like fish. I mean, those penguins have all sorts of calls, and it's cold. And so you're hitting all of those senses. If you really engage people in those dimensions, it's a pretty compelling experience. You kind of erase this rather arbitrary artificial fence that surrounds the zoo. Over the next 25 years, we take an eraser to that. So when you see polar bears at the St. Louis Zoo, it's directly connected to issues related to climate change, to shrinking habitat. We get the message across that by 2050, if present projections hold, there'll be about a third as many polar bears left alive as there are now. Our research programs would be better connected. Our husbandry programs would be better connected. And then the ancillary stuff has to get connected up too. For example, you take our commercial activities. There's nothing wrong with selling plush toys. But if you really want to connect retail activities to conservation, you would take some of the things that are made in Kenya and you'd sell them in the gift shops here. So in some respects, that fence is very important. You know, it tells us, for example, that the tax money, which supports about a third of the operating budget of the zoo, stays right here. You know, it doesn't leave that fence. So everything that we do overseas is supported by philanthropy or by commercial activities where we explicitly state that when you ride the conservation carousel, all of that money is going to be spent on field conservation. You know, the carousel, people say carousel, but children are directly encountering species, in many cases endangered species, that you can find in the zoo. They're paying $2 to ride it, and all the money's going to conservation, and they're really kind of enjoying themselves at the same time. In the end, the carousel spins off, I love saying that, $385,000 a year, something like that. That's a lot of money for field conservation. I mean, $1 goes a long way in Peru and in Kenya.
So let me ask you about the elephant. This is going to be like the signature piece for the south entrance, right?
18 feet tall.
Looks more like an elephant than the Stem Musial statue looks like Stem Musial.
There's something deep in our DNA that makes us attracted to other living things. I'm not sure that as a society we do a very good job of taking that natural affinity for living things and really operationalizing it, making it real, making it a part of people's lives. And that's the role of zoos.